Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rashi Takkar, and I'm a product marketing manager at Benchlink. Today, I'm here to talk about how a modern approach to R&D IT can help accelerate cell therapy breakthroughs with full traceability from lab to patient. In this presentation today, I will cover the latest innovations in cell therapy and opportunities to improve collaboration amongst discovery and development teams. I'm also going to highlight how centralizing lab informatics and IT infrastructure on modern software can make these opportunities possible. I'll share introductory information on Benchlink and highlight how our software has helped cell therapy groups, many of whom are here at this conference today. Cell therapy holds enormous promise for treating many different diseases. Some form of cell therapy have been around since the 1950s. While the potential of other types of cell therapy have been known for a while, it's only been in the recent years that the field has really started to expand and boom with the launch of the first CAR T cell therapies in 2017 and several following that. Now the question really is on everyone's mind. Is cell therapy about to hit the big time? And there are several challenges and trends that's really driving the cell therapy industry right now. There's companies are trying to explore allogeneic approaches that are really poised to expand the effectiveness and the availability of cellular therapy. There's been tremendous innovations in vector production, in manufacturing to make it more scalable, and delivery mechanisms to make cell therapy more cost-effective. In addition, advances in biomarker research is really improving patient selectivity and clinical outcomes that could also boost cellular therapy in the next few years to come. As a still novel modality, cell therapy teams are continuously and rapidly evolving how they work together in the lab, operationally and strategically. Given this momentum, let's take a look at the current state of the industry's collaboration challenges and identify where opportunities for improvement might exist. Despite the overall diversity of the space, many cell therapy organizations have similar goals for their R&D groups going forward. They have certain business requirements to really become that state-of-the-art cell therapy organization. Our customers imagine a modern lab optimized for scientist productivity. In this lab, they imagine their researchers spending time primarily on high-value work and very little time on redundant and tedious activities, such as searching for data, manually logging experiments, looking through multiple software solutions to find where their information is. Overcoming these challenges helps free up researchers' times, letting them plan new experiments, interpret results, and drive your innovation forward. Related to that goal is generating insights. It's great to do a lot more experiments or make experiments that you do easier, but that just generates more data. The value of the data really emerges when researchers convert that data into actionable insights. They also want to generate key insights from their experiments to make more informed decisions more regularly. The challenge is that this data is often spread over different solutions. And because of this, individuals may be making their own reports ad hoc to answer certain questions, but really not as effectively for a broader group. Discovery and development really is a team sport. How well researchers work together, share data, collaborate, really unlocks not only their individual capabilities, but compounds the overall potential of their collective efforts. The challenge, however, is ensuring that everyone can communicate and work together easily. If people don't speak the same language, are using the same vocabulary, the same ontologies, or don't have the entire picture of a project, so a collaborative environment of an organization can really spur new ideas and discovery. We feel that the cell therapy R&D is currently very underserved by existing software applications. In conversations with customers working in cell therapy, their current tools weren't really designed for cell therapy in mind. Many were originally designed for small molecules and they've kind of tried to pivot into cell therapy, but it really doesn't do justice to the complexity that is cell therapy, and thus don't quite meet the needs of today's industry. Often the type of solutions that we see in these labs are their paper notebooks. There are certain point solutions to do like molecular design. There's ELN or LIMS solutions. There are more in-house solutions to really spur that collaboration, but they're often very disparate, right? And they're completely siloed from each other and they don't talk to each other, which really underpins productivity, collaboration, and generating those insights, which we feel are kind of the goal that we're seeing, we're hearing from our customers. So today we're going to be talking about what are the key considerations for a technology solution in this space and how improving your IT landscape is a tangible step forward. So let's take a look at what you should be looking at to make that happen. When you think about the ideal traits that any digital solution should have in R&D, the solutions should provide these key attributes. They should be built for complex science, they should organize your process, and they should enable data-driven decisions. And they should be easy and intuitive to use, so really more people want to be on it and use it, not as an afterthought. So first, if you look at built for complex science, it has to be able to model the science you're focusing on, which means having the ability to build a data model that fits your science, whether it's you're looking for the vector or the actual DNA sequence, where it came from, the plasmid that was used to create it, like everything. Secondly, it has to be able to support your processes and workflows that your team performs and have the ability to scale, iterate, and evolve over time, especially since it's still a much newer field than let's say, antibody discovery and development. Third, it has to be able to empower users with data at every level, giving scientists insights about their experiments and team leaders data on their programs, so you can make both scientific and operational decisions quickly with complete and accurate data. And finally, it ensures that users will immediately recognize the value of your solution, see that it saves times, and adopt it in a way that will really help them be compliant and consistent with the rest of the organization. So it should be easy and intuitive to use. This is where Benchlink comes in. Benchlink is a cloud-based SaaS solution purpose-built to support work in life sciences R&D, especially for large molecules. We accelerate life science innovation by providing the modern connected tools scientists need to succeed. Our company was founded in 2012, and since then, our platform has been adopted by over 600 life sciences companies, from cutting-edge startups to world's largest enterprises. We have designed a connected suite of applications built on a trusted cloud platform that addresses the needs of R&D. They span from experimental design, in silico biology, sample tracking, to process management. Benchlink offers applications from a single interface. This makes it easy for users to leverage what they need without leaving the software. And all of these applications are built on a common unified platform. They share a configurable data model that maps to each team's unique scientific needs. And we know that most companies have a rich ecosystem of instruments, software, and applications, and data stores that their R&D depends on. So we provide an open platform with a full set of REST APIs and out-of-box connectors for lab automation, as well as ways to move data onto and out of the system. Let's get into how Benchlink serves these cell therapy teams. We have built our data model based on the critical steps highlighted here that we've heard from our customers. Starting with the lead binder screening and selection. This is, as you all know here, where the single chain FV or a Fab, or whatever the main molecule is, it's kind of being selected. Next step really involves incorporating the single chain FV or Fab and key elements into a full construct, which could be a TCR or a CAR. The third step really involves in kind of producing that vector, whether that's a viral vector or non-viral vector, which is produced with that key construct and then transduced into donor cells, whether that's allogeneic or autologous cells. Then these transduced cells are comprehensively kind of grown and characterized using in vitro and in vivo studies to understand the desired effect, potency, and toxicity. So here we talk about how Benchlink is really key and that's really what the power of Benchlink is, to really, since it was built for complex science. Every cell therapy team has a variety of entities associated with it, such as CAR and or TCR constructs, and their own constituent parts, whether that's antigen targets, whether that's the plasmid that was used to produce it, whether it's the viral vector that contains your construct, whether it's the cell lines or the donor cells that you're using. Each of these entities have their own sequences, their own properties, and their own ontology. Every resulting cell line has experimental results that need to be tied back to not just that cell line that was transduced, but also the starting samples and sequences. So you can really keep that chain of custody intact and be able to have full traceability from kind of the target, the DNA sequence, all the way to the cell line, the transduced cell line. So this is clearly a data modeling kind of challenge, but it's also an operational challenge, since these also represent the day-to-day functions for lab scientists. When we think of preparing a digital infrastructure for these kinds of challenges, Benchlink thinks about data management and structure as well as operational considerations. And we really have built this foundation for making the rest of this really come together. So if you have the data model right and have that full chain of custody intact, the rest is just kind of add-ons. The second is Benchlink is really able to kind of organize your process, right? Digital solutions have to be adaptable to the various processes involved. The IT world is really moving away from monolith software towards more flexible approaches, but adaptable shouldn't always have to mean coding or custom coding and application development. So we really talk about how Benchlink's able to, this is a high level example, how Benchlink's really able to support a cell engineering workflow. And it reflects the constant iteration and evolution that these specialized teams see on a daily basis. The same construct may be delivered by different methods to see which maximizes expression. And you need a system that's able to kind of change that on the fly. And then once you've really kind of understood that process, optimized it, really lock it down in development and further. And Benchlink really provides that flexibility up front to be able to do that ad hoc experimentation, to be able to modify your process. And then once it's finalized, to be able to really lock that down. Also, a modern digital solution should enable its users to make data-driven decisions, right? Different members of an organization have different questions that they need to answer. So Benchlink really enables that because, for example, a scientist will be looking for an appropriate cell line to plan this study. Now, instead of emailing other team members, they should be able to look that up in the inventory, in the tools, to compare the antigen affinities and inventory data of multiple cell lines and query from a central data warehouse where everything is standardized and centralized. Lab techs have to manage their stream of work requests and ensure that they have the bandwidth, supplies, and equipment to stay on top of it. Benchlink also helps a team manager really answer the questions at the process and the team productivity level. And it also provides executives the insight, the high-level view of the entire pipeline. A modern digital solution, in addition to have all those, should also be built on a secure infrastructure, which is where Benchlink comes in. And we also do have compliance to key industry standards such as ISO 27001, the Privacy Shield framework. We align to a lot of regional privacy and cybersecurity standards such as C5 and NIST. The idea really is that we want to have features and application controls to ensure user compliance, have a dedicated validated tenant to ensure that you can control your releases and have your validation in order, and also provide validation and audit support whenever you need that. Benchlink is proud to work with 600 industry customers and with some of the leading cell therapy companies that have driven new advances. So actually, I'd like to wrap up with a short example from Adicet, which embodies centralized informatics for cell therapy. Adicet is noteworthy due to their focus on using delta gamma T cells to treat various types of solid tumor cancers. The potential of this technology has meant that Adicet has been growing a lot. In the past few years, they've tripled in size and brought on researchers from around the world. Researchers stored data wherever they could in the past, whether it was paper, it was cloud services, it was local drives, it was everywhere. This really hindered their ability to gain visibility into what was going on at the bench. This is when they turned to Benchlink to provide a single platform to support their work, from automating the tracking of entities and the experiments done, and streamlining collaboration as they move downstream from discovery to development. They also use Benchlink to structure their data with templates, with standardized vocabulary and ontologies, and really organize their capture of data to better guarantee consistent data quality and organize it for development and regulatory submissions. In all, they've been able to submit an IND for one candidate and have further expanded to bring process development activities in-house to speed their remaining pipeline to market. Thank you for joining me today and for submitting questions. We'll get to as many as we can with the time we have left. Thank you.